Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we're taking a look today at the Sensibo Air. This is a smart remote control for air conditioning units. This will work within window units that have a remote control. It also works with things like my LG split system here that is an air conditioner and a heat pump all in one. And what it does is it replaces the remote control that came with your unit with something that you can control from your phone, and it will allow for control over the internet. It also integrates with many popular home automation systems like Google Home, Amazon, and Apple. And we're going to take a closer look at this in just a second, but I do want to let you know in the interest of full disclosure that this came in free of charge from Sensibo. However, all the opinions you're about to hear are my own. No one is paying for this review, nor has anyone reviewed or approved what you're about to see before it was uploaded. So let's get into it now and see what this device is all about. Now, before purchasing any of these Sensibo devices, I would suggest going to their website and searching for your exact model number. They have a lot of support for a lot of different air conditioners, but it's good to check first before you purchase. Now, there are two versions of this Sensibo product. They have the Air, which is this little one, and there's a slightly larger one called the Sky. The Air is the higher end of the two, and they have a comparison chart up on their website that's really helpful for trying to figure out which one you need. Now, if your intention is to connect this with your Apple HomeKit stuff, then the Air is your only choice because the Sky is not compatible with Apple HomeKit. The other thing that the Air has that the Sky doesn't is more mounting options. So the Air here has little rubber feet so it can sit flat, or you can mount it vertically on the wall. And the Sky has to be mounted vertically, so the Air has more IR blasting features versus the Sky. And one thing that I found with this is that it does, of course, require power. It uses a USB power connector here, as you can see. And so this wire is always hanging off the bottom of it, which doesn't look so nice on a wall. So if you do have it laying flat, you can kind of conceal the wire at the end of the table or something if it's in IR range of your split system or air conditioner. And I have a split system, as you saw, across the room there, and it works fine all the way across the room. So I haven't had any trouble getting things triggered with this. The hardware on the Air is very simple. You saw that plug going in. It does connect to your Wi-Fi, so you can connect over the internet to manage things. I always recommend plugging these IoT devices or connecting these IoT devices into your guest network to isolate things from the rest of your computers and other things. And it will still work just fine because you're able to access this over the internet through its app. It also connects up, as you saw, with Apple HomeKit, along with Google Home and the Amazon Echo ecosystem as well. And the configuration was super easy. All I had to do when I got things set up was point my existing remote control at it. I just had to hit the power button, and it was able to automatically detect the LG system that I am currently running with, and that was it. I was surprised by how fast this was. I looked at the first generation of this Sensibo product a number of years ago, and it was much more complex. So it was literally a minute, and it was ready to go just by pushing the button here on the remote. And I really haven't had to use this remote over the last 2 weeks or so that I've been playing around with the Sensibo, which has been awesome. So you get a much simpler interface, which we will demonstrate here in just a second. So what I'm going to do now is plug this thing in. We'll get it pointed at my split system, and we'll see what we can do using the Sensibo app. All right, so here we are on the home screen of the Sensibo app. I want to direct your attention to these two values here at the top. You're going to see a temperature reading and a humidity level. These are not coming from my AC unit on the wall. They are coming from the Sensibo device itself, and both the Sky and the Air have a humidity and temperature sensor. So now let's just turn everything on here. About the only thing I can demo to you is just the light turning on because my swing arm is broken and taped in a forward position here. But as you can see, I hit the button. The Sensibo is laying flat on a shelf, and that has now powered up my split system. And like the remote control that came with it, I can pick what mode it operates in. So mine has a couple of different options here, including an auto mode, which will determine whether or not it should be doing heat or air conditioning, or I can force it into cool heat, or just have it run the fan. And there's some ways that you can programmatically address that on the app. I'm just going to turn this thing off because it makes a lot of noise and it's plenty warm in here at the moment. Some other things that you can do, of course, is control the fan speed. You also have control on my unit over the swing arm if it was working, and you can control whether or not the lights go on it. And I found it to be much simpler to navigate my AC unit through the app than it is through this remote control that often gets very confusing for me. I can manually set the, once I turn on the unit here, I can manually set the temperature here as well. So you have all the basic controls, and you can do these controls from anywhere in the world. But this is a smart remote control, and there are smart things you can do with it. Let's take a look at a few of those. Some of the obvious ones are having a schedule operate, so you can have the AC turn on or off depending on the time of day. They do have an option for presence, and this is a feature unique to the Sensibo Air that requires an additional sensor, and that sensor basically detects a person walking into the room, and if it detects somebody in the room, it turns the AC on, and then it will turn it off a short time after the person leaves the room. So if you wanted to have something that just kind of reacts to people versus running on a fixed schedule, that's something you could do there. Now this setting is called Climate React, and this allows the Sensibo to act as a thermostat. So what it will do based on its sensors is turn the AC unit on and off based on the conditions that you set. And those conditions can be temperature, humidity, or a combination of the two. You also get some charts here about what's going on with the system. It also keeps a log of when you turn things on or off. Additionally, it will also tell you if the Google Assistant was doing something. So if you set up some routine on your home device management and you weren't sure what it was doing, it actually tells you which person or thing has changed the status of the unit there. So that's all good. They have some other stuff down here as well, including a little guide for when it's time to clean the filter. One of the big things with these split systems is that the filters get clogged up and it impacts the performance of the unit. It impacts the thermostat, but it also, of course, impacts airflow. And I'm not sure how it determines how clogged up my filter is. I'm guessing it's based on the runtime, and it certainly knows the runtime of the unit that way. So it'll give me an alert to go ahead and change out that filter or clean it. Now, one thing I am not a big fan of in the smart home industry is the fact that all of these companies have some kind of subscription service they want you to pay for every month for added features. Sensibo is no exception. They have kind of a collection of AC health monitoring features that are part of their subscription. So for example, the one they're advertising here in the app is an anti-mold feature. And what this will do is turn off your AC when it's been running for a while to let it dry out so mold doesn't grow on things. And they have a few other things related to this that you can pay for. But I don't think it's worth it. I think you're probably better off having somebody inspect your AC units every once in a while to make sure they are working properly. And of course, it supports routines on the Amazon ecosystem side, along with the similar functionalities on Google and Apple, where you can script different behaviors based on what the sensors are picking up. Now, in the gear section here, they've got one other feature of note called Geofencing. And this is tied to your phone, and anytime your phone leaves the house, you can have the AC turn off or reduce itself to a lower setting and then have it turn it back on when you get back in the house. And again, that's all tied to the phone. A little bit earlier, I tested it out with my Google Home device in the kitchen. It works just like any other thermostat would. You can do all of the temperature adjustments here and switch modes right within the Google Home unit, either through the interaction with the screen or through your voice. And it works exactly the same on the HomeKit and Amazon side. So if you have existing thermostats, the interface will look identical to those. So overall, I am very impressed with this little device. It is super easy to set up, provided your AC unit is compatible. And it will add a layer of intelligence that your AC did not have before. I have not touched my remote since I got this going, and I'm using my phone now exclusively to turn that thing on and off, because half the time I am somewhere else when I realize I left it on, and it's always nice to just be able to hit a button and know that I can turn off the heat when I am not in the room. So this will save me some money. I'm going to keep working on some more automation tricks with it, and overall it's something I can definitely recommend. If you don't need the HomeKit features for the Apple side, the Sensibo Sky has much of the same features that the more expensive Air here has. So unless you really need HomeKit, I think the Sky might be worth taken a look at over this one. But either way, I think you will like the experience of automating your air conditioner. That is going to do it for now. Until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold level supporters Jim Tanis and Tom Albrecht, Hot Sauce and Video Games and Eric's Variety Channel, Brian Parker and Frank Goldman, Amda Brown and Matt Zagaya, and Chris Allegretta. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/s.